to the chair. Yeah, come on. Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Here we are live again. It's Thursday, 12 noon, which means we are ready for this week's live lunch. Now, you will notice if you're paying lots of attention that, Mark scrubbed up rather well this week. Okay,
Is that
Mark's
me? Do I get to play Mark?
Yeah, you get to play Mark. Although no, you don't get to play Mark because Mark never says anything. You're here to talk. You're here to talk. So Jane was on holiday last week and now she's back, and so Mark's gone on holiday. They both needed a break from me basically, so that's we arranged it that way. But we've got the fantastic Angela Cripps from Recruiting Jim joining us today. We've got a few things to talk about because Angela's done loads of stuff, but I'll let you introduce yourself, Angela. Go on.
I love the fact, yes, I've done loads of stuff. You're right. I've been in the industry over 30 years. So I did start as a consultant, did 5 different desks, was a manager of a team, and then went into training and development. So had a good 20 odd years training managers, consultants, anyone in the recruitment industry really, and get to do it all over the world. Normally, I had 4 years of traveling every 4 weeks to APAC and having a wonderful time. And then I think it was my fault because I said, right, I'm going to spend a bit more time in the UK in 2020. Smashed that target, 100%, didn't get to go anywhere. So there we go. That's me. Recruitment through and through, and got involved with the Recruiting Gym last year. Was met MD by the summer and bought it at the end of the year. So it's one of those... Victor Kiam, was it? Love the company so much I bought it. It's that scenario. Hi, Paul.
Awesome. Yeah, Paul's there. So we already warned Angela about Paul, who joins us every week. So, just there'll be a few odd hashtags along the way. So there we go. Just so he knows we talk about him every now and then.
Loose women, I think, perfect. Let's go with that vibe.
Absolutely. So, it's really funny when you think about the differences that lockdown has made. The whole pandemic has made to our businesses and that kind of thing, but also to us as individuals, because it's kind of like, I am a little bit embarrassed to admit this, but not massively because I pretty much share everything anyway. But it's like, if I think back to early 2020, if you'd have said to me, oh yeah, I've been doing this across APAC, I'd have been going, oh yeah. And Mia, yeah. I was like, I had no idea. Didn't know.
What, you don't know where they are?
I'd have been Googling it afterwards. I'd have and it's kind of like, because I'm from this little tiny world, here in sunny Northamptonshire, the farmer's daughter, and it's like, if you're working on a global scale, then it's like this is your everyday language, isn't it?
You're right, and actually, it was Asia Pacific, actually, right to start. Then it was Asia Pac, and then it went to APAC. So let me clarify then. So yes, going through EMEA, going through Dubai every time. So stopping there on the way and the way back. Good old Emirates. Thank you very much. So it would be Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, China, Japan, if I was going north, so I do that once a quarter, and then Australia going south, so Melbourne, Sydney. I did go to Auckland. Unfortunately, it was in their winter, got the wrong time. It was wet, it was grey, it was rainy. It was like Watford 30 years ago. Didn't impress me.
That doesn't paint a great picture, does it? 30 years ago.
I spent most of the day where I had my day off in their maritime museum, which was amazing. It was fabulous. Loved that. But yeah, the rest of it, yeah, you can keep it. Sorry. So I didn't go back.
So obviously the stuff that you were doing when you were doing all of that, you were working with you're helping people from a recruitment perspective, but also it wasn't just about putting the right people in the right jobs. There we go.
So I made that
you got your hashtag. You're accepted. But yeah, obviously in doing that, you were then working not just recruiting people, but actually getting them settled in their role, getting them onboarded, like looking at the leadership within these businesses as well. And I mean, there's masses of changes there, and some of it sort of ties in what you're doing now with Recruiting Gym in terms of helping people overcome those changes. So yeah, let's. I'm trying to subtly get the conversation to talking about onboarding. So let's do that.
Well, I suppose that's one of the biggest changes that people have seen. I mean, it wasn't so much of an issue last year because people weren't looking necessarily to bring new people in. Everyone, if you were in one of those busy sectors, you just worked your butt off, didn't you? And all the directors got involved as well. They were sort of back to the floor, which was great, and they learned a lot. And those companies have established the fact that they didn't have to pay so much for everything. They cut all their costs down. They've got more effective employees, and they're much better off. They're much more profitable this year. You've got the other side of the coin where people are furloughed, taken out, and it's getting them back in. So it's not just onboarding new people, but it's onboarding those people that potentially have not worked for a year and a quarter. I mean, that just seems ridiculous to me, but that is the reality that we're in. So getting them back into work, there's a lot of anxiety of people at the moment going, what you mean I've got to work? You've got to do something now, and that's going to be happening over the next couple of months. So we wrote a program last year for the first time we come out of lockdown called Furlough to Fee. So that helped everyone, and that was specifically written for current employees, getting them back into work. So I think we're going to have to bring that back again, because there are still people that I get a lot of emails, we're on furlough, so they're going to be coming back. But then it was all those new starters. People have actually found they've sort of cut back. Now they need people again. They're bringing in either experienced, really hard to find good quality experienced consultants at the moment. So most of the people I'm talking to, they're going to graduates, they're going to salespeople, and actually looking at inducting them and onboarding them and training them themselves. But they then soon realise how much work that takes. I've been writing onboarding programs for about 15 years for companies, individually and bespoke. And if they're not experienced in recruitment, that first 3 to 6 months is pretty much the same. If they're going to be a 360 consultant, it's pretty much the same for most people. They just have to decide, when do I want them on the phone to the clients? And at what point does that kick in? Because people have different views on that. But the rest of it, it's pretty standard to get them in, get them working, assess them, make sure that they're actually achieving. So I finally got all of my documents, because some of these onboarding programs have like 85 pages to them, all the different documents, assessments, briefing sheets, role plays written out, and scorecards for those role plays, so they get specific feedback. Finally got it into the gym and online. So that is there now to help people and get them onboarding them. If they're in the office or if they're not, it works for both. So yeah, I'll shut up now, because it's one of my things at the moment, that just trying to help people to bring new people into our industry and do it right. Oh, you're on mute.
Muted.
Me usually.
It's because I've got the windows open, but then there's like, I'm really paranoid about the traffic noise. Can you hear it in the background?
Only just, it's fine.
Is it fine? Yeah. So yeah, and then it was like something flew over as well. I was like, for God's sake. Like what you're talking about is really, really relevant, but not just within the recruitment industry. I think with all businesses, there are a lot of businesses that are they're growing. Perhaps it's their first employee, but then they're able to do that now. And I think that the way that we've kind of onboarded people into our businesses previously is completely different. And it's funny, we've on a bit of a recruitment drive ourselves, and I know, Angela, you've just got a new employee in yours too.
Yeah, so we've had Charlotte join us yesterday. So Angela Cripps, you'll see her around about. She's going to be our marketing exec. She's going to get involved in promoting us and supporting us. But you're right. Luckily for me, I had all my onboarding documents and I could just adapt it to her. And it was really lovely. After her first day yesterday, the comment at the end of the day was, "This is so much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd be overwhelmed. I thought there'd be too much, but it's all worked out really nicely, and I've got everything. It's fine." So to me, that's sort of that. Yeah, okay, we've written it right. We've done it right. We've done it slowly, because too many companies do like a 1-day or a 2-day induction and throw everything at them and expect them to remember it. There's no way. I remember my first week in recruitment, I had a headache for the whole week. Just masses of information constantly without the opportunity of putting it into practice. So that's why we write out the schedule. We keep going back to things. We leave spaces for them to actually put into practice. We give them projects. They have to write a report. They have to do research. So obviously she's doing research on the recruitment industry, but a recruiter will be doing it on whatever sector their company is or that they're going to be working on. So it's a great way of bringing someone in and getting them contributing to the team pretty quickly as well, because they'll be getting all the new stuff, what's happening now in their research, they'll be understanding it from that point of view, and then they share it with everyone in a report or a presentation. So again, we're seeing how do they write stuff? Because a lot of the time we find out after we've recruited them, oh my God, they can't write a sentence. But also how do they present? They're going to have to present to their clients, to their candidates. So you sort of mixing it up. There's usually about 30 assessments that we go through over those first 6 months. And some of them are a silly multiple choice in the first week. In other words, have you been listening? Have you taken anything in? And are you getting who we are and what we do? And then you can expand that out with projects, presentations, research, role plays, and then good old KPIs as well. So those expectations are set from week one. People know what they've got to do. They know if they're doing well or not. There's nothing that they get to their probation and they won't be thinking, have I got this job or not? Because it's all written out for them. They know exactly what they've got to do. And if they don't do it, then the likelihood is no, they're not going to be confirmed. And we have this issue in the recruitment industry. One, we're not great at recruiting for ourselves. But two, we sort of extend these probation periods all the time. It's like, well, you sort of nearly got there, or you sort of done it, or the things are going to come off later. And we extend, and we find another 3 months down the line, and they're still not doing it. And you think, well, actually, they didn't do it in the first place. So I don't know why I thought they were going to be doing it later on. So all of that's all part of it, because you need to both know where you stand, and that person needs to know what they've got to achieve to be successful. And if they don't do it, then the likelihood is no, they're not going to be successful.
Okay, I've got another question for you, and then I'll let Amanda and Jane speak, maybe. We'll see. Obviously, the courses that, well, obvious to me, the courses that you do, they're all through an online system. They're all through a learning management system, aren't they? And I think that previously people have looked at the onboard and they've got, we've done it ourselves. It's something we're working through at the minute. We've got this beautiful folder that's got all of our policies and procedures and everything else, and it's all mapped out. Every single process is in there. But actually, when you try to onboard someone remotely, that's mission impossible and just a nightmare. You don't get the assessments right. Obviously, you're using that system. We've also, I should mention, we have a client who, so that the company name is Tovi, Tovi, and this is a learning management system. So if you're looking at building onboarding courses and things like that, go and have a look at Tovi, because John there's just absolutely fantastic at helping you map this stuff out. And he's about the software itself. But I think that, like, with the stuff that you've done historically and what you've been doing over the last sort of 12 months, you must be a massive advocate for using an online system for this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't been involved much with online until January last year. I put my first course in the gym with Alex Moyle and loved it. And I'd been doing classroom training for 22 years. The only experience I'd had of it is doing webinars online to Australia at 1 o'clock in the morning. So they would get it in like 9-10 for them, for the RCSA, which is like the REC in Australia. So that was it. And I just thought, well, it makes sense to get some stuff online, because once it's done, you can repeat. But it was written with the premise of online training with a day's classroom training with it. And that's what I did with that first course. And my leadership program that I then decided to write after it, because I loved it, was meant to have, again, over a year. So that was meant to have 4 days of face-to-face training with it. So initially, that's what we thought we were doing. And we just had to adapt like everyone else and make it 100% online. Now, as we come back, we know that people still love that classroom training. They've missed it. They're asking for it. It's whether they can do it or not. Alan, one of our trainers in the gym, I think he's got 3 days this week of actual classroom training with 3 different companies. So it's happening. It's coming back. We'll obviously be doing that and taking it cautiously and making sure everyone's safe in that sense. But if you can combine the two, hybrid, we call it hybrid trains, online as well as the face-to-face stuff, it covers all bases then. But because we haven't been able to do that, then we've been online training powered by humans. So we do the webinars, we do the face-to-face coaching on Zoom, on Crowdcast, on Teams, whatever. platform we're using at that point. So we've just had to do that instead, and it's worked. I mean, it works. It's fine. We can train all my APAC clients. They're now working with us through the gym instead. So we've just sort of carried on in that vein. But they still say, when are you coming out? It's like, when we're allowed.
Jane, you've been, do you know, I said her name and then she froze. Is she back?
Oh, have I?
Oh, I can hear you, so it's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, but why? Did you freeze on purpose?
Yeah. The minute you said my name.
Yeah, so you've recently, because one of the other things I wanted to sort of touch on with Angela was kind of like the sort of leadership stuff, the development, that kind of thing. And I'm sure you will be horrified, but I'm going to tell everyone anyway. I'm in absolute awe because Jane's just started a master's in leadership and marketing, which I just think, considering the amount of work I give her to do, to take that on as well off her own back is just like, wow, basically. Yeah, it's like a hashtag Super Jane. We'll have to, Paul Green, we'll have to change the hashtag. But obviously a lot of that's been delivered online, Jane, and I know you've done things previously that have been delivered that way as well. So you must have an opinion on this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, previously I've done things that actually were classroom based, but they were part-time while I was working. But this is the first time I've done something fully online. And it is a strange thing. I mean, I hopefully will graduate at the end of this from Lincoln University, having never visited Lincoln University, which is kind of a strange thing. But obviously, if I go for my graduation ceremony, I will get to visit the place one day. But yeah, it's what's nice about it, though, is the fact that you don't have to do anything at a set time. So we don't actually have any live lectures. It's all online, but there's micro lectures, there's reading, there's discussion forums, but you can do it in your own time. So I did one at 1 o'clock in the morning the other day because it was too hot in the day to do anything else. So it ended up being later. And but that's the nice thing. And I'm actually studying with people all over the world, which, of course, if you were in person in the university, you can't do that. So it's quite different, but quite nice. So. Hopefully I didn't break up too much then.
No, and it's definitely benefits to it. That's the thing with everything, isn't it? There's always pros and cons. We all learn in different ways. So for some people it works perfectly. Others it's like 80, 90%. But for the situation we're in, I'll take that. And then we can just adapt as we go along. But I think it's helped people to appreciate that they don't have to learn in just one way. There are other options for them that they might not have considered before a year ago.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think these online master's degrees really existed in quite the same way before the pandemic either. But I mean, you think, like you've said, the stuff is there. If you've already produced it, you can just keep rinse and repeat. And this course runs and starts every 8 weeks. And they can just get, I think there's 300 people signed up to start on the same day I did. And that's just a moneymaker, really, isn't it? Obviously, someone's got to mark your work and things like that and sort of invigilate the discussion groups and everything. But ultimately, it's a moneymaker.
Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway.
It is. But I hate putting these courses together. It's like pulling teeth for me. It really, really is. And like, Angela, you've created so many now. It's like you just
70 in there now. Yeah, some are short courses, an hour or so. So yeah, we'll put the link into yours, your recruiter's guide to blogging success. So again, helping people, those that are responsible for writing blogs, and that's more and more now. Companies are like, we need to be out there on social media. We need to be letting people, and we want everyone's voice in the business. It shouldn't just be the marketing person, and I'm sure you're pushing that all the time to try and get content out of people. So having a short course that says, okay, here's what you do, go and do it, here's the workouts, here's how you put it into practice, so much easier. So they run from an hour to a year. So again, it's up to you what you want to choose.
With the leadership course, what kind of things are sort of covered in that? Because there's, like I said, that's your baby, isn't it? That's your.
It was my baby, but it's expanded over this year. So there's now 4 of us that are responsible for that program, because it's a year program. There's 10 different courses within it. People can just buy the individual courses themselves, but obviously it's a lot cheaper if you buy it as a bundle, they call it, all together. So it starts with Leadership and Management Essentials, so a 3-month course that again, if you're looking to get into management, if you've never had any training in leadership and management, then that's a great one. And if you want a refresher, so that covers the sort of 25 competency areas that you need, whether it's building and maintaining a high-performing team, developing individuals, getting your processes right and best practice, mindset of managers and leaders, or your business planning. So they're the 5 key areas. They're split down over those 3 months. And then a couple of those we then deep dive into. So like the performance management course, we have a whole month, 5 weeks just on performance management, same again on business planning. So people tend to pick those and do those as they're coming up to their year end, maybe 2 months before their year end, use it as part of the process, because all the documents are in there as well to download. So whether it's your 3-year plan and your strategy and your BD strategy and your candidate strategy and your people plan, that's all there for them. Then we got Claire Davis involved, because we all realise we don't talk enough about mental health. So we've got Managing Stress and Mental Health in Recruitment as a leader. So that's a nice 4-week course, taking people through to be able to spot those signs, to know how to deal with it, to be able to pick up on it, to try and get rid of it in the first place within your business, but also utilising the good stress. I never knew there was a term for good stress called eustress. Did you know that? So eustress is great. It's positive. You know, it's that we're in the bell curve, as it were. So we've not gone over. We're not in stress. We're in eustress in the middle. To the left, we would be bored, nothing happening. But that bit in the middle where there's that drive, motivation, things are happening. You know, when it's like, oh, I've got loads on, I feel good about it, and I'm working through it. It's when it gets too much and it's like, I'm going a bit disastrous. So focusing on that area and how to get people into that point. So love that. We've just added in Rebecca Shannon and Arlene O'Brien's course, Gaining Competitive Advantage Through Problem Solving. So this is more for those strategic people, or if they've got any type of issue within their business, they can utilise this course to resolve that and get ahead of their competition. It's based on Lean Six Sigma, so project management, things like that. So it's a very light version of that that's based for recruitment. So perfect for people that want to deal with that. So if you've got a project manager in your business, or it is your business and something's not quite right, that's a great one to then work it through. So we've got quite a few different examples of the people going through the program. They're using it to get ahead of their competitors. They're actually using their competitors as their problem that they're coming up against. We've got people that have got payment not happening on time and working properly, people with staffing issues, maybe disengagement from employees, using that as their problem. So whatever it is, really, they can process through there. And then I'm just trying to think what the other ones are. So business planning, performance management, essentials, mental health, gaining competitive advantage, and I'll have to come back to you what the other ones are. Oh. From there. But they're all around. Oh, leadership. Yes, sorry. There's a couple on leadership of developing a business development culture. That's what Alex wrote his book on. So there's that. Again, probably 3-4 weeks on that one. And also delivering conversion. So it's all well and good going and getting the business and having that culture. But you don't fill it. So therefore, it's the follow-up to that. Oh. And then they get access to our daily workout that is our sort of literally daily course we do for 10 minutes every morning.
So just tell everyone, how many daily workouts have you done now?
344 as of today.
Wow.
So we started on the day of lockdown thinking it would be 3 weeks. So it was called the Daily Stand-Up. Do you remember those where you get the whiteboard first thing in the morning? What's your objectives? What are you going to do? How are we going to do it? Right, catch up at the end. So it was that, to just get, while everyone's stuck at home, give them something to do for the day. So we focused it all around that and things they could do in lockdown. So it wouldn't necessarily be making placements and getting jobs on, that first point, was it? So it was everything else. And we looked at mental health, got that in, topics of the day. We got a load of I think there's 30 odd guests in there as well that have come in. And this week's been a week of guests because we've been doing people that have written recruitment books. So we're doing book week, and I'm going to do that every quarter because it's brilliant, hearing from the authors themselves. So this morning, go and have a look, was Barbara Bruno, who's been in recruitment for 35 years or so. She's based in the US, and LinkedIn approached her to write a book called High Touch, High Tech high tech, high touch recruitment. So it's, yes, use the tech that's available, but it's back to that relationship building and making sure that we're building relationships. And we talked about the ghosting issues and people not getting calls back, being ignored, all the rest of it. And we're sort of saying, you've got to look at yourself, really. And that linked to Katrina Collier's book. Hers was The Robot Proof Recruiter. So that linked with that as well. And she's just created a course for us that's going to be in September around, are you worthy of attention in 2021? So it's looking at you and what you're putting out there and how you are perceived by other people that sort of check you out, whether that's on LinkedIn, but it could be all the other things as well. And you just go, no wonder you don't get a call back. Alex did his book, The BD Culture. And then yesterday we had Claire's mental health. Have I still got it here? There we go. Give Claire a plug while I'm here. Emotional fitness, A to Z, positive mental health. So this, I love this book. A to Z. So Q is for quirky activities. There we go. L was for laughter. So what you've got, you'll love this, I'm plugging this. So you've got information, you've got a fabulous quote, details on, there we go, how many times do you laugh in a day? And then once you've gone through the details, it's then a journal. It's go and do these things, write your notes, what's happened. And she's even got, schools are buying it for the children. So it's not really aimed at children, but they're buying it. They're getting them to do the activities. And then they've said they're going to do it again next year. So they're putting dates on them. And then they'll come back to it a year later, because you probably do one every 2 weeks. There's 26. So that takes you through a whole year, so that they can actually have some positive mental health. So yeah, so that's foot week, daily workout. Great for CPD. So people can just search on sourcing, on selling retainers, on business development, on getting clients to pay, whatever the topic is. And there's likely to be webinars there that they can then just pick and choose as they go along. I feel like I'm taking over your live lunch. Sorry, Amanda and Jane.
Not at all.
That's why they like it when there's guests, because even I talk less then. That's the whole point. It's a different voice, But Amanda, yeah, you're quiet today.
I am. Well, I'm just soaking it all in. I love that you've kind of put tabs on the book. I think that's always a good sign that the book has resonated with you when you kind of like fold a page down or put a marker in it. So I'm going to go back to that. So we'll have to put a link.
I am a tab person.
Yeah.
Love a bit of stationery.
Oh, he does. Love a bit of stationery.
So, yes. So obviously the pinks and the greens I've been more impressed with. I'm picking up on those, but I haven't used the big post-its too much. I try not to use a big post-it because then it sits there. I better put hands over it in case it's something that says it sits there for days. The big post-its, the little ones, get it done, it's gone, isn't it? And it's like,
that's it.
I try not to use the big post-its. That's got the most in there.
So all the talk about leadership, it's always fascinated me because people do a job and they do it really well. And you would have seen this throughout your career as being a trainer and being a recruiter. It's kind of one of those, someone's really good at their job and then essentially they get promoted. So it's kind of, well, we're going to take you out of the thing that you're really motivated by and you're doing really well, not give you any training on how to be a manager or leader. And then you go and do that. So they just
assume you can transfer those skills.
And I always think it's, well, of course people need a bit of training on it. So what's Christine?
I'm hiding because I'm not looking at the little square where Jane's sitting right now. I'm just like,
that's why she's doing her course.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that it's absolutely not a dig at anyone. I mean, you see it in huge companies, of all sizes, and I've probably been through that, but I was fortunate to be in a company where they did put the management team through training and things like how to have difficult conversations.
That's one of the courses. Yeah.
Great.
As a consultant and as a manager. So I'll get all these links here. I don't think I can type in the chat. Is that how it works? I can do it.
You would have to do it natively, Angela. So we can post in the chat. So don't worry, we can find the links and put them in there.
Natively, what does that mean?
Oh, so like go into Facebook and type it in there, or go into LinkedIn and type it in there.
Got you.
So there's us using terms that are commonplace to us, but whereas APAC and EMEA and things like that, maybe we don't use on a daily basis. So
No. So back to your comment then, you're right. They get promoted because they're good at it. It's a totally different job with a different skill set, different competencies. And one thing I would say is back to our onboarding, talked about that probation period. It used to always be 3 months. It's now 6 months. We try and push for 6 months. It takes 6 months if you're not a recruiter to learn this job and to get it working right for you. So give them a chance at least. So our onboarding course is a 6-month plan with a 6-month schedule and everything. But when someone is promoted and gets another job, you should give them a probation period again. It's a new job. Train them, development, use it as if they were new coming in. What would you do with them? Because they do just leave them. You got promoted, you got your title, you got your extra salary, fantastic, away you go. No, but it might be 3 months because they know the people, the company, how it works. They just need some development in that time. And it should always be that at that probation, they have the opportunity to go back to what they were doing. They were brilliant at that job. That's why they got promoted. They may be awful at this job, and they might not like it, might be good at it and really hate it. They don't have those. That's the difficult conversations as a manager. That's all part of it. You need to have that open dialogue that this is a new job. There'll be a probation period with it. We'll confirm it at the end. As long as everything goes as planned, then of course you're going to get confirmed. But you have the opportunity to put your hand up and say, I don't want it. It's not what I want. I'd rather go back and carry on doing what I'm doing. And if everyone in the business knows that as well, because it's the pride thing, isn't it? If that's how it works and they appreciate it's a totally different job, it may work, it may not, doesn't detract from what a brilliant recruiter you were. We want to keep you in the business. But what happens is they keep quiet, they try and struggle, they start looking elsewhere and they end up as a senior recruiter elsewhere, making them a bomb or doing it themselves, thinking, well, I'll just be a recruiter on my own and do it from home, not realising they're running a business. And all of a sudden, that's a totally different job as well. And that's where we come in, where we end up supporting people in that first year as well to actually run the business, because otherwise they don't know what they're doing on that side. So lots of options, but they need to be able to do a step down, go back again to where they were. So that would be a key thing to take away, I think, from people that are looking at promoting at the moment.
Go on.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, in all seriousness, it's like I think there's the people in a business where, and this is Jane's situation where she's like naturally progressed and stepped up and developed, and Jane is a leader in the business. And I think to the point, we literally had the conversation of actually in doing this course, I think, Jane, you've now actually recognised your own leadership traits, even if 2 weeks previous to that, I was telling you had them and what they were, and you were like, I thought I was even more bonkers than you normally do. But I think it's weird, kind of, sometimes you need to train people so that they are able to recognise that they're doing it already. That's something I find really hard.
Yeah, I got that opportunity. So I've been a consultant for 4 years, and then 4 years as a manager, but there was that interim period where I got to support my manager, support my regional director, do some of the management things. I used to do the petty cash for the office as well. So I'd start dipping my toes in. I was always training and developing others if they sent people that were new to our office, and I'd train them there as well. So getting some experience to be able to do that, it's part of that initial essentials where they look at the people they've got and go through an empowerment framework with them. What are their roles? Where do they sit at the moment? So are they a go? They just do that job, they can do it, they don't have to tell anyone. Is it a go then let know, which means, do it, but let me know what happened afterwards, keep me updated, keep me informed? Or is it a ask then go? In other words, don't do it until you've told me. Let me check first before you go ahead. So a lot of people are going to be in that bottom quadrant when they're doing new jobs. You want to check all the time. And then there's no-go stuff. So that's not part of your job at the moment, but let's have a look what we could put in that box. And that's where if someone is looking to be a manager, you can start allocating things. Say, right, in the next 6 months, we'll start planning towards bringing those into your job. What would you be interested in? What would you like to do? Having seen what I do, which bit of the job would you like to do? So get them on stuff that they're going to enjoy first off, so they're not put off straight away, and slowly start drip feeding it in. And you make it part of the criteria for them getting promoted. they have to do these things, and they have to do them to a certain level before you'd even consider it. So at least that way, you know, they're already doing it, they're good at it, they like it, brilliant, next bit in, next bit in. So within 6 to 12 months, they've now progressed to be a manager. And I've just had a flash, because one of our success stories, we do a webinar where we interview people that have set up recruitment companies and either sold them for millions or they're still running for millions. And one of them was Melanie Maynard. And she was an office consultant in another location, and she was going to leave because she wanted to be a manager and there wasn't an option for her, or her manager wasn't willing to do that. So I said, no, come and work for me, and over the next year we'll plan out to get you to be a manager. So exactly as I've just described, we did that. A year later, she got the chance of opening a new office, running that office, and then she set up her own business, and 20 years later sold it for millions, and is now retired, and she's my age, early 50s, and you're like, okay, there you go. That's what you can do in recruitment. So yeah, hi Melanie.
There are some brilliant success stories, I think, of people who do it and do it well. Recruitment can be. I mean, I know it can be a slog, and you mentioned ghosting, but it can be so rewarding as well. Because you get to kind of work on people's careers. But I mean, is ghosting still a big problem?
Yes, it seems to be getting worse and worse, because the candidates, they've got so much choice out there. It's a real candidate-driven market all over the world. Wherever I'm speaking, quality candidates are really hard to find. Whether that will change as we start coming out and people are sort of just sticking where they are, better the devil you know, I'm getting paid, I'm on furlough, whatever the reasons. So there should be, come the end of the year, a big tranche of great candidates available again. But we can't rely on that. And therefore, everyone's just sort of getting pinged everywhere, and all these approaches, and they're generic approaches on email and LinkedIn messages and things. There's no reason why that person should commit to contacting you or calling you back. So that's the starting point. They're not even getting anywhere. They're not getting any replies to their messages. But then it's those people that are in the process as well, and not building relationships to the point where that candidate feels like it would be a bad idea not to let them know that they're not turning up for a job or an interview. So there's no commitment levels from candidates at the moment. And I think for me, I always have to look back at the consultant. What did you do? What were the conversations? How did you show commitment to start with to actually get it back? So you can't just ask for it. You've got to do something. So I've got 2 pigeons making love in front of me on a tree. My window faces out to the top of a tree. I'm in a tall building, and I suddenly, when my camera is right behind it, 2 pigeons going at it, and it's like a bit distracting.
That is a first for live lunch.
I was going to say, it's like we've got a guest multitasking and watching pigeon porn at the same time.
Pigeon porn.
That's a hashtag.
I was going down the romantic. I was thinking romantic. Christina, your mind on the
I did say making love, didn't I? I knew. I stopped myself. And I tried to make it romantic for you, Amanda, but no, Christine just brought it straight down again.
Yeah, terrible.
I kind of do. I think that's why I'm here.
Anyway, so I think we'd finish that. But anyway, yeah. So ghosting definitely is an issue. Less so with clients, more with candidates at the moment. But even clients, even coaches, I've had it happen to me this year. So I have to look back and say, I've just got to let it go in the end. So a coach that we had quite a couple of conversations with. I was going to be on their webinars, they were going to be on mine. We'd got it set up, we'd got a date, and when I reached out to say, okay, let's get this organised, let's do a tech test and everything, literally nothing back. And there's probably 4 messages afterwards, sort of text, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, email, trying the different ways, and a phone call, nothing. So on that one, I've just got to go, let that one go. That's how you treat people. I certainly don't want to the gym anyway.
It's really frustrating, isn't it? You get sometimes you get people kind of like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that with you, and you have a really good conversation, and then they just don't follow through. And
and sometimes that's because they're busy, they forget, and then every now and again there's someone that will prompt something, and I go, oh my god, yes, I was going to do that. But I'm usually pretty good because I do it straight away usually and get it off the list. But no, this was, I knew they were getting the messages. I could see that they'd got them. To not even reply and say, sorry, no, not on my agenda anymore, no, don't want to do it. So that literal ghosting from a professional person just really shocked me in this day and age. I thought, really?
So like the person I wish I was kind of has that mindset of, you know, I won't take it personally. Maybe they've got something going on, and you never know what's happening, and that kind of stuff. Okay, but the real me that we all know is not perhaps as nice as the perception might be, is kind of gone, I've given you a bloody opportunity. Like, why haven't you taken it? You're a fool. And it's kind of like, sometimes I get really frustrated. But
whereas I've got the other one gone, I've dodged a bullet. So no, that's fine. I want to give them the opportunity, but if they don't take it, that's down to them. And I certainly wouldn't want them representing the gym. That's been the great thing. They had like 2 coaches at the beginning of the year. I joined them as number 3. And we've now got 19 coaches, and all of them, actually, no, not all of them I know. Some have been, 2 have been recommendations, but we've spent a bit of time, we've worked together, they've done Ask the Coach and things. So I know they're brilliant. They're all experienced in the recruitment industry. So some fantastic people. And it feels like a real team. They've all got their own companies, so they're not working for us, but it does feel like a real team. We have a team meeting, we have discussions, we help each other, we support each other to do that. And obviously, Christina, you've become part of that over this year as well. And some of these people I've never met. It just feels really weird because they feel like, we're really close, and yet I've never met you.
I felt so. One of the other coaches is a guy called Alan Clark. So it is Clark, isn't it?
It is, isn't he?
Yeah, and I've never met him.
Yeah,
we've definitely. There's been one event that we've both been at, but we've not spoken or anything. So actually, the only engagement we've had to date is when we've both been on these, like the Crowdcast. So Crowdcast is like a live streaming platform for anyone that doesn't know what it is. But yeah, and it's kind of like the rapport is there, and you jumping in, and you know the jokes and everything else. And I mean, I think Alan makes me look quite tame, actually.
Some of the stuff he comes out with, Alan was the trainer that was given to me for my induction as a trainer at Blue Arrow. So 23 years ago, maybe even 24 now, that I've known him. So me and him were a bit of a double act. I think one of the best courses we ever wrote was a legal course. The induction day, the last day, so it was 4 days of induction, and the last day was a legal day. And you'd think, oh my God, put that last. Oh yeah, it was hilarious. The 2 of us would do role plays, or actually it was a play, because he's an actor. He was an actor before. He's done stuff on the stage, and so we would write out these plays where a candidate was being interviewed by a consultant, and we'd role play it, and within it would be 30 things that went against all the acts that we'd been training and the way that we'd done it. So it was hilarious. I'm sure we can find it somewhere. I've probably still got the document where we'd role play it all, and then people would be watching, and they'd have to make all the notes, and then they'd go into teams and see, and there'll be prizes, who could get the most, what were they doing. But yeah, just ridiculous considering it was a legal day. We just made it as fun as possible, and that's one of the ones that I remember that really sticks out.
Maybe we should try and get Alan on as a guest.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I think Jane, Amanda, you might have to brace yourself.
All right, okay.
You wouldn't have to worry about talking. It's worse than me.
I've seen him present too. He's got a good energy about him, definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cool. Okay, so we kind of sort of 1:45 now, so we sort of look to start to wrap things up at this point. It's gone really quick, hasn't it? Have we got any more questions for Angela before we kind of get her to tell everyone where to contact her and that sort of stuff?
I don't think I do, no.
Sort of covered things we wanted to chat about.
I could probably ask a gazillion questions, but we'd be here all afternoon. So
awesome. So I think obviously our audience, Angela, it's like sort of 70% are recruiters and 30% are not. Obviously, with all the recruitment stuff you do, give us a little bit of an intro on that. But I know you do some stuff as well that is kind of outside of the recruitment world, don't you? So give us where can people contact you? Why can't I talk?
The heat is frying your brain.
No words. Contact stuff and why.
I'll put my email address in the private chat, and those couple of courses that we were talking about. I'll put the difficult conversations one in as well for managers, because that's really key one. We do stuff. I'm working with the Church of Sweden again at the moment, so I do get some random stuff every now and again. It's usually through recommendation to work with them. So whether it's on business strategies, I'm doing their onboarding program at the moment. So yeah, even the Church of Sweden, if you know Marylebone, you probably know of it, but beautiful church there that has a cafe open to everyone, and they do the best cinnamon rolls in the country. So shout out for the Church of Sweden, because they are fabulous. So do go in there, and it's a beautiful church. So you can sit in the cafe, have a lovely coffee, your cinnamon bun, and sit and relax and do a bit of work. So let's get them support as well. For us, the Recruiting Gym, we've got two websites. So either the main recruitinggym.com, or if you want to go and see all the details of all the courses and what's available, then that's train.recruitinggym.com. And of course, we've got LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, and we just set up Instagram yesterday with our new marketing exec. That was one of the first day tasks. So she's going to be starting to populate that, and feel free to follow us on there as well. That'd be great.
Awesome. That's cool. Okay, right. Just because I'm like a one finger typer sometimes. So let me just pop in your email address here. There you go. That's there now as well. Fantastic. Okay. So Instagram, we'll go and find you there and give you a bit of a boost as you kick that off. That'd
be great. I mean, we're not expecting anyone to follow us until we've actually put some content on there, but feel free. It'll all be moving forward. So that's going to be one of Charlotte's first expectations to set us some targets and some KPIs based around that. So yeah, good old onboarding and expectations.
Brilliant. Angela, thank you so much for joining us. There is one last thing we have to ask you to do before we finish up, because as we say goodbye, we all wave, and someone takes a screenshot, and then that's the image we use to market it after today. So thanks for tuning in, and for people that have joined us, thank you so much. So all the links are there now. Reach out to Angela, and we will see you next week, Thursday, 12, as always. My LinkedIn profile, the Facebook Green Umbrella Facebook page, and over on YouTube. Have an amazing week.
And remember, you're going to be on Daily Workout all of next week.
Yeah.
So you'll be on ours. Did we get that screenshot or not?
I did, yeah. I've got it.
We've done it. I'm like, just keep waving.
That's what we're talking. Actually, yeah, so Christina is our takeover week on the Daily Workout. So things that you should be aware of with regards to social media and keeping an eye on, that's going to be every day next week. So we'll see you then as well.
Awesome. Yeah, you can all start your day every day next week with me. What will that do for your soul?
I guess I have to do that anyway.
I'll put that in.
You need a cinnamon bun and a coffee then.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Angela. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.